We are constantly pushing the limits, trying to find new fishing territory for you, our viewers. And to that end, it's a brand new destination where we've never been in 12 years of our show. It's hybrid stripers and crappie at a brand new destination. Pushing and pioneering the limits of new fishing territory, this is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Southwest.
Well, I hope this week what I have done is found a little fishing jewel for you. Hello everybody, welcome into the show. So happy to have you along today, and I'd like to welcome you to the far north central part of the state of Oklahoma. Just behind me is Lake Carl Blackwell. This is a lake that I have never seen before. Don't know anything about it, never been on it. It's about 3,400 acres. It's got lots of creeks and fingers and arms stretching off in every direction. It's got a covered crappie barge. It's got equestrian trails, hiking trails, everything you could want in one location. And the interesting thing about this place is the entire property around the lake, and I guess the lake itself, is owned by Oklahoma State University. So go Cowboys. Well, we're gonna go out today and try to do a little fishing, hopefully for some hybrid striped bass that are in the lake and for crappie. While we're out doing that in the Nitro Z8, we're taking you around the region for your latest fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters. They're gonna cover all the lakes, rivers, and bays in your local area. Glad to have you along for the show. Right now, we get this started back at the FSN studios. Here's your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are optimistic about fishing action for this weekend. Saturday's conditions are listed as good, with the best daylight action starting at 1:39 in the afternoon. And Sunday is projected to have fair game fish activity, with the peak hours beginning at 2:38 p.m. The sun will rise at 7:28 and set at 6:59. And we just had a full moon on Wednesday, so the moon will still be mostly visible. Stay with us, we have all of your fishing updates from around the region on the way. Plus, I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Edwin Evers with some advice on which lures work best with certain rods.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome to the big leagues.
Whoa, 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 there's one. Be a crappie. Oh, it's a good crappie. Look at this. Look at that. Ah, I had my net ready too. Hey, flopping around. Welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors on your road today. Place we've never been to. We're in northern Oklahoma. We are about 9 miles west of Stillwater, home of those orange pokes, OSU Cowboys. And let me tell you what I've done here. We're gonna keep crappie today, so I'm going to put that one back in the net just for the moment. Right now, we're catching them off of a ledge. I came out here yesterday and I was just messing around, driving around with my Lowrance HDS units and also my structure scan, and I could see these big rocks under there. In fact, I'll show you what they look like on that structure scan. But you can actually see the 3D images of these big boulders down there. And these big boulders you can see in front of me here. They come out and then they make kind of a drop-off ledge. They go from, those boulders are sitting up in 8 to 12 feet of water, and then they drop off pretty sharply down to about 15. So all I'm doing is taking this, you know me, if it's crappie, it's gonna be a Bobby Garland. Got a little slab slayer, and I'm actually casting it out there about 30 feet. I'm letting it go all the way down to the bottom on top of that ledge, right where those rocks are. And then real gently, I'm just lifting that rod and letting it swim down and letting it stay in contact with the bottom and swimming it over the top of those rocks. And when it hits that ledge and falls off to about 15 feet, that's where those fish seem to be hitting it. Let's get you started with some fishing and lake reports. And let's start off in Texas freshwater with Brian Hughes, and then Bill Olson's got your saltwater report down on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you by More Security and Heritage Safes. And we're here on Lake Cypress Springs, which is one of the tri-lakes of Bob Sandlin, Monticello, and Cypress Springs in northeast Texas. Now Cypress Springs is known for million-dollar homes and really nice boat docks, and it has a lot of docks. So get your minnows and your crappie jigs ready, graph for brush under the docks, and drop a vertical presentation for your crappie, or get your jigs, Texas rigs, and drop shots and cast for bass. You can also power fish a spinnerbait all around the lake for bass on Cypress Springs. Now, the Cara Young Fish for Life tournament is coming up on Eagle Mountain Lake at Lakeview Marina on Sunday, October 12th. All of the funds benefit Cook Children's, and this is a great cause. So get out there and fish the Cara Young Fish for Life on Eagle Mountain Lake on Sunday, October 12th. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Heritage Safes and More Security. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, as we move toward the second weekend in October, cool fronts continue to regularly arrive, and with more strength. The impact from these fronts on the upper coast is the most dramatic, with colder nighttime temperatures, stronger winds that drop tides and dumps bait into the bays, and increased bird activity, with fish pushing those birds up to the surface. Now on Sabine Lake, bird activity is increasing. So is the flounder bite, as anglers play the tides and fish either one point or another as they exit the bayous, depending upon the way the tides are moving. Redfish activity is also increasing, with fish now in the lake. Galveston, Trinity, and Chocolate Bays are seeing similar activities. East Matagorda Reef still have fish on top, but the shorelines have become more active. Fish-protected shorelines. Matagorda Peninsula and island shorelines, grass beds, and back lakes are all showing activity for trout and redfish. Topwater lures and bass assassins on light jig heads have been best. San Antonio Bay is turned on with trout on top of the reefs, as well as along the east shoreline either side of Cedar Bayou. Mud, Dagger, and Quarantine Islands, as well as the shorelines along the Lydia Ann Channel, are holding both trout and redfish. From Port Mansfield to Port Isabel, the lower coast is seeing good activity on the flats, around 3 islands, near the mouth of the Arroyo Colorado, and on Long Bar in South Bay. Live and artificial baits are all working. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
There we go. It's a good crappie. We're catching some good crappie. In fact, I want to show you, I just put a bunch of crappie in the net back there, and I just wanted to show you all we've done. We've caught a whole bunch of crappie today. Unfortunately, on a 30-minute television show, I can only show you a few of those, but that's a nice one right there. We're catching these crappie on rock ledges. We've also caught some on some brush piles. Oklahoma Wildlife Department has actually put some brush in here, and they've got them marked with these buoys. It's a really good crappie lake. It's loaded from what we can see. Got him. Oh, that feels like a hybrid. All right, hey, welcome back everybody. Look at my rod boat over. And in the net he goes. Okay, that's just an average size hybrid striper. And there's what they look like right there, almost like a striper, long and skinny. Back he goes. Well, let me give you a little information about Carl Blackwell. As I said, it's about a 3,300 acre lake, and it's kind of an off-color lake. It's stained. Now, I wouldn't call it muddy, but the water here is definitely got some of that reddish tint to it, because all the shorelines around it are that red kind of mud clay type stuff. And The fish that are in this lake would be hybrid stripers. It does have a good population of largemouth bass. It's got saugeye, which is a cross between a sauger and a walleye, hybrid stripers, which is a cross between a white bass and a striper, and it's got a lot of crappie and some catfish. In fact, let me tell you about the catfish. Yesterday I was here and I had my little GoPro camera out and I hooked into something while I was crappie fishing. I wanted to land it on camera just to show you, and I caught a big flathead catfish. Look at this big daddy right here. Again, that just shows you that there's great populations of fish here, and the lake doesn't get fished a lot. Hey, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports. Here's Louisiana with Cajun Phil and Kevin.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with your Fox Sports Louisiana Outdoor Report. We're talking saltwater fishing. We're talking Calcasieu Lake in southwest Louisiana. Tell you what, we're getting that late summer, early fall pattern. Tell you what, we went out today, we caught a limit of reds, got about 17 trout. It was pretty windy out there, but we still had a good day. We just had our first little cold front come through, so the water was a little messed up, but we still had a pretty good day. Live shrimp, popping corks was the key today. I tell you what, friends, right now along the whole Louisiana coast, saltwater fish is picking up. Tell you what, till the winter time, we're getting ready to get into the flounder run in the next few weeks. Y'all want to make a trip, give us a call. Numbers on the screen. Till next time, this is Captain Kevin Broussard for Cajun Phil saying happy fishing and may God bless.
There he is. I think I can swing that one aboard. All right, that's just an average sized fish for this lake. Of course, a hybrid, as we mentioned, is a cross between a white bass and a striper. And you can tell by the broken lines down their sides, and this lake evidently has just got a really good population of them. Big old, probably a larger slab than what you would fish normally for white bass. That's probably about a 1 ounce. If you want to catch a hybrid striper, you make a long cast, horizontal, you let it go to the bottom, and then you burn that reel handle in and you make the bait go sideways, horizontally across the bottom. If you want to catch a white bass, you jig it vertically straight up and down. And of course, I want to catch the hybrids, and so I let it go to the bottom, crank it like this. Got him. Another one, big one. Wow. You crank them sideways, and the hybrids can't stand it, and I don't know what makes it do that, but that's just the way it works. And it works everywhere there are hybrid stripers, and evidently this lake's got a really good population of them. That one's not a big one again. These aren't big hybrids. I did catch one yesterday. In fact, I'm going to show it to you just a second here. That was a pretty big one. But there you go. And hit a big old slab right there for you. A slab hitting a slab.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. By Tracker Boats, it's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. And by Whataburger. Get your day started at Whataburger with the new jalapeno cheddar biscuit.
Got him. Whoa, that's a freight train. Oh, that's a freight train right there. Hey, glad to have you along, everybody. We're testing out my first trip to Carl Blackwell Lake. Look at that dude. That's a good one. Keep a net handy when you come to this lake, because you never know when that might happen. All right, look at that dude. Man, that's a nice hybrid right there. Hey, I caught that fish on a deep diving crankbait. That is a Strike King 6XD. Most people think of that as a bass bait. It is not just a bass bait. This is one of the most deadly secrets that I know for catching these nice hybrid stripers and striped bass like this. They want a horizontal presentation. This bait will dive to 15 feet deep and it will absolutely catch them. Now I want to roll in just a quick piece of video here. I was here for a couple of hours yesterday and I caught a couple of nice hybrids. Actually, I caught several, but I caught one that was somewhere in the 7 or 8 pound class, and I just wanted to give you a quick shot of it from my GoPro camera. Actually, there are several lakes up here. Skiatook, Sooner, Keystone, lots of lakes up here in this part of Oklahoma have good hybrid striper fishing. Okay, we're gonna put this fish back, let him go free to swim another day. All right, buddy, back you go. Thank you very much. Hey, it's time to get you some more fishing and lake reports. Let's go to Oklahoma. Here's Gary Dollahan.
Hey, I've got a couple of recent bass reports for you that should really help you with your upcoming fishing plans here in Oklahoma. One is from Lake Tenkiller. That's where Bobby Myers went with Philip and Bob Hudnall. He said they had a great day on the lake. They reported catching about 60 bass, most of those in the pound and a half range, but he also said they caught a number of nice 4-pounders, largemouth and smallmouth, as are seen in these photos here. Bobby said they had their best luck on the lower half of the lake and then within that area in the back half of the creeks. He reported they caught a number of fish on Zara spooks, but also caught the majority of the fish on shaky heads rigged with the LaRue tattletale worm, and they did catch some fish on jigs. Now, Tenkiller is down about 5 feet. That means it's exposing a lot of areas that you normally can't see. And with those fish being shallow like they are right now, you've got some really good fishing at Tenkiller. The other recent report is from Texoma. That's where Andrew Upshaw visited. He said they had good success fishing the main lake pockets where the wind is blowing into those, and then also looking for chunk rock in those particular areas too. In the morning hours, he said the best success came on Zara spooks and buzz baits. Then on up into the day, they caught them on a variety of baits, finesse baits, shaky heads, square bills, and things like that. But again, he said you have to fish shallow, 2 to 5 foot of water. Reports, bass fishing shallow across the state of Oklahoma in October, but one thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Luz, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. By Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate. By Fort Worth Nissan. Fox Sports Outdoors is powered by Fort Worth Nissan.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Whataburger Ask the Pro question, your chance for advice from professional anglers. This week, Dale wants to know, which lures work better with a fiberglass rod and which work better with graphite? For the answer, we checked with Bassmaster Elite Angler Edwin Evers.
The instances when I use a fiberglass rod is anytime that I have, say, a treble hook type bait. You know, any of my crankbaits, lipless cranks, anything with treble hooks is when I use that style rod. You know, when I go to a graphite rod, anytime I'm casting like a worm, a jig, Carolina rig, any of those type of things where you need a lot of sensitivity, you need a really good hook set, swim baits, spinner baits, all those things, single hook lures, that's when I go with a graphite rod.
Thanks, Edwin. If you have a question to ask one of the pros, go to our website, follow the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now let's find out which big fish photo wins someone a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
We've made it back to the park here at Carl Blackwell Lake in north central Oklahoma with the Nitro Z8 back on the trailer. And as a matter of fact, you can see a couple of the beautiful little cabins here in the background just over my right shoulder. You can rent these if you'd like to make a fishing trip here. And you can also book a guide. There is a guide that guides for these hybrid striped bass. His name is Larry Wine. He has a website and you can look him up, give him a call if you'd like to book a hybrid striper fishing trip here or a couple of other lakes that he guides on. And a little piece of bonus footage. I mentioned I was here yesterday. I made a little drive up to Sooner Lake, located about a half hour north of Stillwater, Oklahoma. That lake is now grown up with a bunch of grass beds, and I caught about 3 or 4 pretty nice largemouth bass, including a nice 5-pound bass on a Strike King spinnerbait, as you can see there. It's time right now for this week's Costa Catch of the Week winner, who wins free Costa sunglasses. This week's winner is James Mahon of Arlington, Texas. He's showing off an 11-pound, 7-ounce largemouth bass he caught at Lake Arlington right in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. He released this big beast back alive into the lake, and here's a bonus for you. Arlington's been pretty hot the last couple of years. Robert Tyrone is showing an 8-pound, 2-ounce largemouth bass, and Keith Carney has a 7 and a 6.5-pound largemouth bass. All these caught out of Lake Arlington, but James Mahon is our winner this week. If you would like to enter our contest and have a chance to win your very own free pair of Costa sunglasses, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, and if you're a winner, you get your choice of Costa frame or lens styles. You can see all of those again by going back to the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, Clicking on the Costa logo, you can see all of the Costas there at their website, including the frame and lens style that I was wearing on this week's show called Brine. Next up on the Academy Right Stuff feature, it's the right gear to catch crappie or hybrid stripers, and it begins with a great rod and reel. This is the Lew's David Fritz Speed Stick Cranking Series rod. It is a must for hybrid striper fishing. Why? These fish make big, powerful runs and they can rip the hooks loose out of their mouth, and this rod has a lot of flex in the tip that allows you to fight those hybrids very well, especially on that deep diving crankbait. Here are the two baits that I always have handy when I'm hybrid striper fishing. One is a large size slab or spoon on your left, at least 1 ounce. Sometimes I go up as high as 2 ounces. Then on the right is the Strike King 6XD deep diving crankbait like we showed you earlier. This one dives to a depth of around 15 feet. Then for the crappie, caught pretty much every crappie I caught on this week's episode on the Bobby Garland Slab Slayer, but here's the key. I rigged it on a heavy head. That's the biggest head that Bobby Garland makes in the Moglo series, and I rigged the 3-inch, which is the bigger size of the Slab Slayer, for this darker, dingier colored water here at Carl Blackwell. I have a couple of friends in my hometown who own self-storage facilities. It got me to thinking, and I went online and did a little research. There are 48,000 self-storage facilities, not units, but entire facilities in the United States. There are only 11,000 in the rest of the world combined, which means the U.S. has over 80% of all of the self-storage facilities in the entire world. 87% of those are filled to capacity. There is 7 feet of self-storage space for every man, woman, and child in the entire world. The vast majority of it is right here in America, stuffed to the gills. In our country, many of us think that we are defined by the amount of stuff that we own. And that is absolutely not what defines you and me. That's not where we get our identity. With that much self-storage space and that much stuff and junk in it in America, what do you think it says about us? Thanks for joining us this week on our show. I had a great time out catching these crappie hybrid stripers at Carl Blackwell Lake. You might want to make a little trip here at some point in the future. Hey, don't forget to join us on next week's episode. We'll be on Thursday at 10:30 p.m. with the repeat airing Saturday morning at 7:30. And one thing new for this season, we've got all of our videos in one location right on the front page of our website. You click right below the video frame on more episodes and video here. It gets you to all of our archives, all of our past episodes, how-to videos, product videos, and much more right in one spot. You can always catch the latest fishing news, videos, photos on our Twitter feed at the Twitter address you see on your screen, and on our Facebook page at the address you see there as well. From Carl Blackwell Lake near Stillwater, Oklahoma, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.